Welcome, Andrew. How you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, it is time to get down to business and learn about the most common tropical and foliage plants. So, why don't you share your screen and take it away and work your way through the alphabet in tropical and foliage plants?
Dieffenbachia. These are also known as dumb cane. It'll give you a numbing sensation in your mouth if you chew on the canes. I don't recommend doing it. There are many different varieties out there with white and green variegation, some that are dwarf varieties and some that get rather large. Typically, they're produced either from cuttings or from tissue culture, and they prefer indirect bright light. Dracaena, this is a very large category that we could probably go into a separate presentation just for all the different types of Dracaena. There's over 100 different species in the genera. They are typically produced by cuttings, cane, or air layer, depending on the type of Dracaena and the size of the plant that you're looking for. They prefer bright, indirect sunlight. And one thing to be very careful of is they are sensitive to chlorine. If you have chlorine in your water, you're typically going to see tip burn on Dracaena. So it is better to produce these without any chlorine in your water. Betonias. These are cute little plants. I really like them. They're very good for small pot sizes. Again, like most tropicals, they prefer bright indirect light and will burn with direct sun. They need to have a relatively high relative humidity. They're produced from cuttings. And like I said, they're a relatively small plant, getting to a maximum size of 6 inches. And they have a wide variety of colors available within the genera. Gynura, this is one of the first plants I ever had as a kid. Really neat purple fuzzy leaves. One thing to keep in mind with this plant is if you treat it really well, it'll flower. And that's something you don't want because the flowers have a very foul smell. So don't be extra specially nice to your plant because you don't want it to flower. They're fairly easy to grow. They like bright indirect light, typically produced from cuttings, and just like the other tropicals, they do like humidity. Hedera. There are both perennial varieties of Hedera as well as greenhouse varieties of Hedera, typically known as ivies. They are prone to mites and bacteria. They have many different varieties available with a wide variety of leaf shape, size, and variegation. They prefer bright indirect light, and they're frequently used as a spiller in combo pots. Hemigraphis, the purple waffle plant. This one is grown predominantly for its foliage, although it will flower. It does best in partial sun or bright indirect light. There are several different varieties out there with purple and white variegation, typically produced from cuttings. They do like a moist soil, but don't like to be waterlogged. And they're a relatively small plant growing to a maximum of 6 inches tall. Hypoestes. This is a common bedding plant, but it's also used as an indoor house plant. Also known as the polka dot plant, they come in a variety of red, pink, and white variegations. They grow to a max of 2 feet tall, prefer warm, humid temperatures. Indoors, they're going to prefer bright indirect light and shade outdoors. And these are typically produced from seed.